In this video, I wanted to talk about my Arccaptain MIG130 a little bit. I've had this in a couple videos now. I've had it for maybe a little more than a year, and this little MIG welder is pretty awesome. I really love using this thing. I'm not really reviewing it right now. I actually have to do a few maintenance items to it. That's not any fault of Arccaptain's, it's me not being a good welder. So I need to update a few things, but I got some parts here I'll show you in a second. But this thing is, I think the biggest thing about this welder that makes it great is its cost, because not only is it cheap to buy it, but it's cheap to run it. Dirty. I've used $15,000 Miller MIG welders before, and yeah, they're great welders, but they're very expensive. And you know, I'm a DIY guy. I don't really do anything huge. I don't really weld anything that has a big safety, you know, big need for safety or whatever. Like nothing that's load bearing, nothing that's for safety, like, you know, like roll bars in a mud truck or whatever. Anyway, I always do kind of small crafty stuff, making little parts and stuff for all my little projects that I have, and this works perfect for that, and it's cheap. Like the flux core wire on here, I got two 2-pound spools from Arccaptain. This is the second one. The first one lasted me almost 14 months, give or take, and then I've been welding a lot lately, so I'm down a little bit on the wire, but not out yet. But these spools, I guess I need to look. I think they're between $15 and $25 a piece on usually Amazon or Arccaptain's website. I'm running 030, so and of course it's flux, so there's no gas, which the gas part is what I'm glad I don't have to deal with, because I absolutely hate taking a tank to go get it filled, or you buy a tank brand new and you go somewhere and then they want to just give you another tank that's full and keep your nice new tank that you bought. That crap drives me nuts. I like my stuff filled right in front of me, and then they just want to do an exchange because they don't, you know, they're, whatever their excuse is, they're busy, or, you know, safety reasons, can't have customers out in the shop when they're filling them. I don't know. But so I don't have to worry about a tank. Flux core welding is very dirty. It's very smoky, and you know, it leaves that crap all over your welds that look like this, and you gotta chip at it or use a wire brush, kind of similar, I guess, to arc welding, where you gotta use that chipping hammer to chip all the slag off your welds. But so it's a little dirty, but that's kind of the cost of, you know, running a cheaper setup, so I can deal with that. I have to grind all my crap anyways because I'm a terrible welder. But this welder has just been great, and it just plugs right into the wall. No 220, no problems with the electrical stuff. And you know, I guess I need to double check this. It's not plugged in right now, but I forget what the highest setting on this is. I've been running 70 amps, and it's been perfect. Never tripped the breaker, and I never have heat problems with whatever I'm welding. So just an awesome welder. And I was just thinking that last night when I did a lot of welding yesterday, and I have two problems here. One is that my ground is completely beat up. I mean, I don't even know how I got all this, how it melted like that, and I got splatter on it, and the spring action's not very good. And so I'm having ground problems, and it's causing my welds to get pretty messed up. So I need to fix that. Then this MIG gun here, this tip on here obviously has seen better days. It's all messed up. And it's possible too that this thing right here, yeah, I need to take better care of this thing. I don't know how I let it get this way, but anyway, tighten that down. So this tip on here, it's funny because when you use gas, this tip has to be really clean, because if you get crap in the tip of this and your shielding gas can't get through, it screws up your welds. So I always forget that, and I try to keep it clean anyways, because you really just should. You don't want a bunch of crap getting on the end of this, but it's not like it makes a difference. There's no shielding gas going through it, and I forget that a lot. But this thing's all beat up. I've been trying to reshape it every time it gets flattened for whatever reason. And then of course the little tip that the wire goes through, I get that full of slag and splatter all the time. Like I said, I don't know if it's because I'm a bad welder or because that's just how welding is. I'm assuming that's because I either hold the nozzle too close or do it incorrectly or whatever. So I need to put a new tip on there though. I think it just looked better. So need to do that. Line is good, so don't need to do anything with that right now. Went to Harbor Freight this morning and got a couple things. The only thing I really went there for in the beginning was just these nozzles, and then I ended up getting all this stuff. I have no idea if these are gonna work or not. I gotta take them out. These are just slip-on nozzles. Vulcan brand, which I don't know if that'll work or not, but I think there's just like 10 bucks, so if it doesn't, then I guess it's not the end of the world. Got a new ground. This one has a good spring to it, so it'll really stay on whatever piece you're welding. And then it's kind of universal, so you just need to cut your ground wire and stick it through the handle. And I'm still trying to think of what way I want to mount this, because I think there's more than one way you can do it. Or maybe not, maybe you're just supposed to use that. But anyway, I grabbed these terminal lugs, and I'm going to try to press one of these on to my current wire, and then I'll probably just put it on right there, run it through this, and then stick it right there, and then that way it's tucked away inside of this clamp. And I grabbed some Vulcan 030 flux core wire. This is 2 pounds, just like the other ones that I had for my Arccaptain. I don't really know a lot about like interchanging brands. That's one of the very few complaints I have about Arccaptain. If you're thinking about like Chicago Electric or Titanium or Vulcan from Harbor Freight, so if you're thinking about getting one of those or getting an Arccaptain, my only thing that bothers me about Arccaptain is if you want to buy Arccaptain stuff, you have to order it and wait for it to get delivered. So if you're anything like me and you don't plan ahead, and then you run out of something and it ruins everything, then you have to run to a store real quick and get something. At least Vulcan has their own, products, their tips, their wire, whatever, at Harbor Freight. So if you have a local Harbor Freight store, you can just go get it. But I would prefer to run Arccaptain wire through my Arccaptain because I know it works well and I like it. But I didn't want to wait for it to get delivered because I'm trying to get my projects done before it gets even colder outside like it's supposed to. So I grabbed this. I'll try it. But I think I'm going to order some Arccaptain wire just to stock up on this stuff. 2 pound spools, which really for me lasts quite a while. So I got that. So on one of my other videos, I've been making this little piece. It's an extension for the push plate on my log splitter. And I've been making this. And before I welded these bolts on there, I was using this to square it off. And it worked, except this is made out of plastic, and the whole thing, this thing was really hot, and I didn't want to melt the plastic to it, so I kind of couldn't use it. And so today, I just happened to stumble upon this from Pittsburgh, and this is an aluminum one, so there's no plastic on there to melt your piece if it's hot. And this was like $5.99 or $6.99, so can't beat that, really. So, and there's a level on there. Well, I guess there's a level on this one too. But anyway, this is for wood more than anything. And then when I was at Harbor Freight, they had a free gift thing, so I grabbed this. Basically 7mm up through 19mm. So whatever, it's free, right? So I'm gonna start on the try this nozzle out, get this ground hooked up. First thing I want to do, I want to see if this nozzle will fit, because that's like one of the main things that I was hoping would work. Trying to run a tighter ship around here. I love welding, but sometimes I look like a total idiot when I'm doing it, and it's kind of embarrassing. Oh yeah, I bet you that'll work. That might need to be replaced soon too. I got crap all over that, but I have a whole bunch of those. Actually, you know what? Tighten this thing down a little bit. Likes to come loose. Oop, reverse thread. Don't need to over tighten it, I just don't want it moving on me. That's better. Look at that. All fresh and new. So if you happen to have a Arccaptain MIG130, the Vulcan slip-on nozzles from Harbor Freight should fit on your gun. We're off to a good start. Oh yeah, and also, I'm always buying up all these welding accessories that I never use when I should be using them, so I'm going to try to do better at that. This is a Hobart MIG gun holder that I got from Tyson's Farm and Fleet. And I'm not sure what direction you're supposed to put it, but it basically just holds your MIG gun, which is really nice because I'm always setting this down, and then you walk away and you'll be on your phone messing around, and the whole time this button's depressed, and then all of your wires coming out, and then it touches the ground and the entire thing arcs and turns glowing orange because I'm stupid. Anyway, so that's done, and then now for the ground cable. So this is super crappy. So this is a really good upgrade to do. It obviously helps Arccaptain keep their costs down by not putting a fancy one on, but this is a cheap and easy thing to do. And this still works, it's just not as good. Yep, that was easy. Now, that's a really small thingy. Where is my electrical stuff? Nope, I'm gonna have to use a razor blade. I'll be right back. Okay, so I just scored around this rubber and exposed some of the copper, and I accidentally cut some of it off, but I still think there's enough there. Just kind of sucks because that's really not a lot to work with. So this is probably going to be all loosey-goose, unless maybe I could cut more of this off, fold this in half to make it bigger, and then try to stick this on there and then pound it flat. So I'm probably going to try to do that. I promise if I slip and cut my finger off, I won't put it on YouTube. Let's go right here. I don't have any wire strippers that are big enough for this, so just trying to get the rubber and not the copper. a little bit thicker than what it was earlier. Kind of wish this thing would go over the rubber part too. I have an idea. Just shave some of it off. I've said this 1,000 times in my videos. I'm not pro at doing anything. I just do my best, and that's really all you can do. I don't try to master any one craft, because then that limits my abilities to one thing, and that's not how I roll. Little electrical, little plumbing, little concrete, little metal fabricating, little carpentry, a little bit of engine stuff, a little bit of machining, a little bit of everything. Okay, now let's see how that works. See, that's awesome. It's already pretty tight. Okay. If only I had something that I could crush this with. Oh wait, I have a vise. Okay, we're just gonna stick that right there. We're going to give her the beans. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. Just because I'm a madman, I'm gonna run this thing through one more time. It's gonna look weird, but that's enough. I don't need to overdo it. Awesome. Can't even pull that off. So, if I really wanted to, I could probably do something additional here, like get some of that shrink crap and wrap it and heat it or something. But this isn't like a ground for an off-road vehicle, it's just for a welder. So as long as this is stationary, it's not really gonna fall apart. Next step, put some of this crap away. All right, take this little nut off of there. We're gonna stick this. Let's see, that's the way or that way? I'm gonna put it on this way. Just like that. I'm going to do it this way. This particular nut on this clamp is a 9/16. Oops. Don't want that thing moving. There's always a way. I'm happy with that. There we go. New clamp, new ground. See the difference? No grip. That has grip. All right. Those are two of the biggest ones I wanted to get done on this welder today, so awesome. Okay, here's some of the stuff again. Got this nozzle, which will work on my gun. I got another terminal lug. I don't need to keep them in the original packaging. I massacred it anyway. So these are at Harbor Freight, and it fits an Arccaptain, so that's awesome. Write that down. Highly recommend Arccaptain. I will try this Vulcan wire out when I need it. I don't need it right now. So this stuff is gonna go in my welding drawer where I keep all that stuff when I need it. Again, here's the old nozzle, and here's the old clamp. Into the garbage these will go. Got my new Pittsburgh combo square. Absolutely hate the packaging this stuff comes in. You know, in an honest world, you wouldn't need this packaging. You could literally just have it sitting out on a hook with a little tiny removable tag on it that has a barcode. I guess that really doesn't matter. People steal it anyways in that packaging. But I got this. Don't listen to me, I just ramble. Put it this way. Tighten it down. Again, this is aluminum, so this is not plastic. And check and square while you're welding. Boom, right on the money. Good to go. Or if this is nice and red hot, you do this. Boom, nice and square, and then all of a sudden the plastic here is melted. That's why I update my stuff. Now, like I said earlier, with me buying stuff to help with welding, I bought this Hobart magnet that you can put on your welding bench, and then you hook your ground to it. So when I used this last, obviously I was having ground problems because of this anyway, but I was also wondering, like, obviously if this is a ground, whatever this coating is on here has to be conductive, because you wouldn't paint over something that would cause ground problems when this product is literally for ground. So that makes me wonder. So I want to make sure I have this thing tight enough, so I'm going to kind of take it apart. But out of curiosity, I'm going to grind this off, whatever this coating is, which doing that might cause it to rust later on, especially with how humid this garage is. But I'm going to do it anyways because you can grind rust off. So I'm just trying to explore every possibility. So this is a 3/4 nut. Maybe that should be there instead of 2 of these underneath. That's a little stupid, isn't it? Man, if only they made something that would save your hands from getting burnt. I'm happy with that. That's how I roll. Alright, now Stick that back on. I swear if this helps, that's gonna make me laugh because this is literally for grounding. I wonder if this bottom nut's even as far tight as it should be going. Okay, anyway, I think we're good. Whatever. Got a 19. Good and tight now. Hopefully that makes a difference. You know what drives me nuts is when everything that's a magnet, every little piece of metal that comes off your grinder, or you know, some of your line that you cut, or wire you cut off the end of your thing gets stuck on this crap. How do you get this off of a magnet when it's literally attracting this crap to itself? Because I like to clean that off. I get so sick of this stuff being caught on magnets all the time. So the last time that I was welding, like I said, I had ground issues. So now that I tighten this down, got the 2 washers on each side to help with conductivity. Then I ground this down. So even if this paint or whatever this coating was I did it anyways just for science, just to see if it makes a difference. And then, obviously, fixed the ground itself. So that thing's like, it's good. But I like to use this though if I have a piece that I don't really want to put this ground clamp on. It's just so much easier to just ground off the entire metal plate here and then set your piece on there and weld it. This little central machinery tool stand that I customized and put a 1/4-inch plate on it doubles now as a welding bench, and that was something I didn't even think about when I was putting it together. So then I got my vise on there, which was the original point of this. So it's kind of a little welding thing. If you have a small garage or you're just a DIYer and you want to play with this stuff, this is a cheap, this plate was 40 bucks. The stand maybe it was 40 or at least 49, somewhere around there. So you're looking at a $100 welding bench here, and you're looking at a $150 welder and a $100 vise and a couple small tools. I mean, for, you know, 300 bucks, give or take, whatever, you could have your own little welding setup and do some upgrades to it to get better performance. So little tech tip for you: if you have some nozzles or some consumables, or just, you know, whatever little tiny things you have for your welder, if you want, you can always actually put them on the inside here, as long as they're out of the way of the wiring and the wire feed. You can actually put things off to the side, so that way they're always in your welder. So if you need some consumables, instead of looking through your toolbox to find it, you can always just put them on the inside. Just make sure not to impede anything in there, but I don't do that. I keep my consumables and other welding things. This is my welding drawer. So my grinders I always use when I'm welding, so that's why they're in here. Got some parts for my welding helmet. I have a rotor tool, bits for that. I keep my paint pens, my chalk, punches. You can also scribe lines with that. All my little wrenches for all my grinders, including my cordless ones that are not in here right now. All of my grinding discs. I even keep the old ones because they do a good job of taking paint off, even if they don't really take any more metal off of anything. And I'm a hoarder, so I keep stuff. I have a huge stack of cutting discs. If these go on sale anywhere, I grab a ton of them because they go fast when you're cutting stuff a lot. Also, when it comes to grinding, especially if you want to take good material off of a piece of metal, I think every time you find one of these that's blue, they work awesome. These things here are supposed to be the same thing and they suck. I guess these are Porter cable, so these are a little bit better quality anyway. These are Job Smart, which is Tractor Supply's go-to brand for cheap. Some of their products are awesome, but this is not one of them. I almost want to take this whole stack and just throw it in the trash, but I won't because it's still good for taking paint off. This is a Job Smart right there, this little rotary tool set. Also have some stuff from my arc welder, extras for my grinders. This is a pair of eye protection for using a plasma cutter, which I don't have mine anymore, so, but I keep held on to this anyway. So yeah, in my case, I know where my welding stuff is, but if you ever wanted to, you can always put it on the inside of your welder. I can't believe that I forgot the most important part of this whole video. I forgot that I got this welding part from Formax, which came from Menards, and I also have Formax's welding helmet, auto darkening, and a whole bunch of other tools from them. So I'm going to put this thing together. Almost done putting this thing together. Oops. Dropping all my stuff here. This isn't the cheapest thing I've ever seen, but it's not the best either. But these bolts will strip right out if you give her the beans. That's gonna drive me nuts. That hits like that. See how it sounds on the ground. Yeah, I gotta fix that. I'm not gonna like that. I practically had this whole thing like halfway put together, and I realized that I put one of these, the big main piece on wrong, so the holes weren't in the right spot. So now what's happening is, since I put the, I even need the washers on it. Since I put the long part of the threads down, this wheel is hitting, and I can't have that. I want this thing to be nice and smooth. All right. I think I got every bolt in this thing tight. Now I don't run gas, so I don't need this chain at the moment. But someday if I do run gas, then I'll have it. Cool. think that's everything. I think they gave me one extra bolt out of this whole thing. One extra bolt and one nut. And then these are all the washers I didn't use. Talk about generosity. Give you an extra piece of hardware like that just in case. That's great. Can't believe I almost forgot about this. That was like the main part of this whole video. So the other day when I was welding, I didn't really need this stand for the fact that you can put a tank on this. I needed it because I wanted to get my welder up in the air, because one of the problems with this welder, it's not really a big deal, but one of the things that annoys me is that the hose on this thing isn't very long, or the gun, I guess. This is not very long. I bet you it's 6 feet at most. And so it gets to be a real pain running out of this, and then while you're welding, pulling on the machine and pulling on this as well. And by bringing it up in the air about 3 feet, it actually gives you more, kind of more distance, I guess. Because if this were on the ground, then this would have to go up in the air. Whereas if it's about 3 feet high, you know, I could be welding on this vise right now with my machine all the way over there. And so that's why I wanted to get this, so I could get it up off the floor. And then it actually does the same exact thing with the power cord. By having it up in the air, you get more distance. So where it's sitting right now, darn near reaches the outlet. Now it could be plugged into the outlet. That's good distance for this machine, because this drives me nuts. I looked on Arccaptain's website one day trying to find one of these. If they even had a 10-foot, that would be amazing. And I just can't seem to find one anywhere. I mean, you can find them, but it doesn't always mean it's gonna fit into this machine. So, but that's one problem that drives me nuts. It's not a huge deal, but so this little stand from Performax, I think it was $49.99. And there's room underneath if I need to put anything in there. You know, some accessories or pieces of scrap metal or something. You can always put it underneath, more storage. And then of course it has these two little deals on the side where if you want to, you can wrap up your hose and hang it on the side. Same with the ground and the power cord. So, been wanting one of these for a while. I'm trying to improve my welding setup, so glad I remembered that and put that together. So anyway, got some good mods done today, added some things. I should have a more efficient welding setup. So thank you so much for watching, and if you have any questions or anything, be sure to let me know, and stay tuned to future welding videos. Thanks for watching.